when do we start looking to enter some of these trades, specifically this time traveler, whether that's in a calendar approach or diagonal approach? Right here you'll notice I've put anywhere between 20 to 40 days to expiration, and it is okay to use the weeklies. That is just a guideline. You can enter these trades at any point in time you like. The longer days to expiration are sometimes going to be more ideal, but what is more important when you want to start trying to time entry on these is to understand when you're looking at, say, for example, these are the top equities that I'll trade various calendar diagonal strategies on. It's more important to trade and time these when your front month volatility is higher than your back month volatility. And the reason for that, if we look at, we'll just say Costco, for example. If I want to go back into a point in time, let's say July 25th of 2016, all right, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. If we go July 25th, 2016, I want to be paying more attention to the volatility between the front month and the back month than I necessarily do about days to expiration. All right, it's still important to look at days to expiration, but if I have options that are expiring in 26 days and I know that the front month volatility is higher than the back month volatility, well, that's going to be a better situation to try and time an entry. And so I could say, well, maybe I don't want to get into the September trade yet because this vol is lower than this vol, so let's go forward a couple of weeks. So when you're trying to figure out when is the ideal time to enter these trades, just understand on these Vega positive trades, it's more important to look at, let's do large. It is more important to look at this volatility skew and this difference than it is the actual timing on the price chart. Now, that being said, well, look, you have a big gap open. You could say, what if I knew going into earnings there was a high likelihood we could have a gap open? Well, I could make that directional move and say, all right, let me use my knowledge of saying, I know that the earnings are coming up. I have a strong conviction it's going to be bullish. And I can say, well, if I want to sell one and buy one here right at the money, and we get that strong bullish move, I will be down money, right? Well, a very simple maneuver is to say, well, let me just create that kind of a situation and say I still have defined risk, albeit if it moves down, I will lose. If it moves up, I will gain. And you take your knowledge of I'm selling an option for $206, I'm buying an option for $178. Therefore, that is relatively fairly close to the same amount. I'm generating a positive cash flow of $21. This is what my risk profile looks like. So you get that move to the upside. It's a Vega positive trade. You have time separating the distance between your expiration cycles. You have a known event that's coming up. You took a directional approach and your bias was correct. Your trade began to move up and you lock in and bank your profits. Okay, so the timing per se, is less important on looking at the price chart. Actually, we'll go a few more days here because I think the earnings were after that. All right, let's see here. I thought that we had saw a nice big spike to the upside, and that obviously might just be bad data on that one particular day. But I think you get the point where you can say, all right, if I am moving to the upside, now why did that happen? Well, what happened? The options that I were short expired. All right, so these options right here in August that I was short, they expired. So we have to go back to make sure we get rid of those before they expire, or you'll be left with only one long option. So again, you sold it for 203, you buy it back for 6 pennies. Now what you have done is you've created, oh, whoa, looks like another risk-free trade. Could it be? Could we have another risk-free trade? I think we do. We have locked in a guarantee. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to be a little silly for the moment, but you're taking your knowledge and you're saying, all right, it's utilizing what I know about how these options decay and how they expire and how they operate when I want to try and time entries in connection with when they're getting ready to decay. You can create risk-free trades, and it's less about obsessing over price action and where the price is going to go and where it might go and where it should go and where it could go. It's more important about understanding in-depth mechanics and processes of about how options operate, specifically how volatility influences are impacted on these types of spreads. Okay, so I hope that does help.